Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Mathematics and this is Yaz and we are...
Hear me out. Welcome back.
All right, so today's episode is going to be a 25-year-old virgin.
We've all seen that movie with Steve Carell, the 40-year-old virgin. Well, right here in our backyard, there's a 25-year-old virgin.
And
there was.
And so the story is like when it can go to the other extreme, where
inadvertently,
you create a monster. So one of the things a lot of people may or may not know is I do work at a lifestyle club. I'm the bartender there, and we do get all kinds of people. And I have no issue. You be you. It's none of my business what goes on, really.
Yep.
And on occasion, though,
consenting adults.
Yeah. So on occasion, we do get, individuals who wander in and, they're just at a weird place in their life, or they're trying to figure out themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an incident where, this individual came in and we got to talking because it was his first time there. So he sat at the bar like a lot of people do before they go into the club. They will, get their liquid encouragement. Mm-hmm. And, he's telling me his situation and telling me how he had never had sex before and was, feeling down about it.
Right. Where all of his friends had already had sexual encounters. He's pretty much the only one that he knew at his age that hadn't had sex.
Right. And on top of that, he is not a drinker. So he's also sober. And so he doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs. And then on top of that, he gets to listen to his friends, make fun of him, say that he's, think of the things that you would joke about with your friends at a certain age or whatever. So anyways, I was like, it'll happen when it's time. And then there was another young lady that kind of follows through into the club not that long after. And she ironically was kind of in the same boat. Mm-hmm. And I was like talking to her at one end of the bar, talking to him at the one end of the bar. And I was like, I have a magical idea.
Right. Let's put these two things together.
Yeah. So
1 + 1 = 2.
Right. And so inadvertently, I created this, hey, you guys are kind of, I feel like you would make, at least you have things in common, mm-hmm. And start talking. Well, here's what ends up happening. So that night works out for him, and he had his cherry popped and vice versa. And they had a great time and they hit it off and it was fun and all of that. But the problem then became that it was
the thrill.
Right. So the thrill of that experience, and this is something that we continuously talk about, is that we're in a society of instant gratification.
So and after that first encounter, then there's another, and then there's
another, and then there's another. And so we're technically open Wednesday through Saturday. And
he's there all those days.
So he was showing up every day with that
expectation of
and some of these nights
of an encounter.
And some of these nights are open to other, not just lifestyles, as in, but if you have different sexual orientations, even. Mm-hmm. So exploring that, which is, again, you do you.
Right.
However, so one of the things I started noticing was that, multiple partners and multiple things going on, even the nights that I was there. And so I kind of pulled the person aside and I was like, hey, I know it's none of my business, but from an outsider's perspective, you are going to make it a lot more difficult for yourself if this
down the road.
Yes, because if you're truly
get into something with one person singularly, it's hard for them to take you seriously if you're just
so you've gotten into the habit. So you're in the habit now of having, that you can go to this establishment and the people there are also in that same mentality.
One of the things, I'm making a pivot here, one of the things about quantity versus quality mm-hmm. is that you're not often taught how to be a good lover.
Right.
And I think that every woman appreciates when a man is a good lover.
And vice versa.
There are so many men that have a body count higher than this town. However, that doesn't make them a good lover. the ones that are good lovers are the ones that you covet. If you could have 100 bodies from last month to this month, but was anybody satisfied? Did anybody really enjoy it? So that's a harder thing as a woman, especially a seasoned woman that's older and things like that.
And I certainly think
little
that
boys often try to tell you, "Oh, I just did no. Little boy, you can't do shit because you know what? I'm pretty sure you don't even know where stuff is at."
But I also feel like it goes on. It's hand in hand. I think women, I think men appreciate women who are good lovers as well.
Right? Oh, undoubtedly.
My thing that I'm starting to see, and I don't, it's none of my business. And I do say this a lot, like, I know what goes on in there, but I can't save you once you cross the door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's you're an adult, make your own decisions. But I do believe at this stage in my life, I'm making very conscious decisions. Right. So I don't necessarily just think about what I want. Sometimes I want things that are, yes, I have impulses just like anyone else, but I have to think the next step sometimes and think, well, if I do this, how is it going to affect
this? Exactly.
And that's part of being an adult. So I felt that I at least needed to say, hey, like, just because you can
doesn't mean you should.
Because in the long run, when you are trying to find yourself in actual relationship, if you're so used to immediately getting what you want, that you don't have to put forth the effort. And so that was another thing I said, that it's becoming a thing where I'm seeing like very young, attractive men who could go to any bar or any establishment. These are fit.
They don't want to do the work.
But because they would rather, it's easier than sit down, talk to somebody, get to know them, and have to.
Well, it's similar to online dating or some of the apps that are specifically designed for hooking up. I mean, people are going certain places to hook up.
Right.
So you're cutting out.
And it comes right back.
You're cutting out the courting. You're cutting out the dating. You're cutting out the getting to know each other.
Or the bullshit in your mind.
You're going straight in for the wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
But where's the real, what it comes back, it circles back down to, where's the real gratification? So if it's instant and you're able to get your rocks off and you are getting all of those, but you're actually missing like so much there's so much to be said. And I talk about this a lot. Intimacy is something that is something that is really irreplaceable.
Right.
When you enjoy somebody on a deeper level, everything is better.
Everything.
So yes, you get your rocks off, but like there is something to be said for that, like the aftercare, the laying with somebody and having that moment where you're truly connected.
Yeah, where those endorphins are still flowing.
Yeah.
And, your synapses are still firing and you're making a deeper connection.
Right. So, but if you're like
getting lost.
So then if you're just getting to the habit of, I need
just busting a nut.
You're really truly missing out on like a bigger, better picture. And I could be way off. I don't know, but I do see this a lot more. And I'm not kidding when I tell you it's like 20 to 28-year-olds. And these are not people that couldn't go into a bar or another setting and have luck with interactions. Now, in this particular person's case, obviously at a certain age, if there's a disconnect somewhere, and I can understand wanting to experience sex for the first time at a certain age, feeling like the oddball. I just do think, though, at a certain point, though, if that's all you put out there, that's literally all you're ever going to get. And then coming back from that is going to be really hard as well.
Yep. Well, let us know what you think. We always are curious.
Yeah. Do you know anybody that is like, AKA a virgin still? Are they managing it? Are they still trying to date? Are they online dating? What is there a reason that they're not, active?
Or if you are a virgin over the age of 25, we'd like to hear from you.
Yeah.
If you are a virgin because not by your own desire or, waiting for marriage, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We want to know.
Like,
What's going
share,
on?
subscribe, and tune into our channel.